Standard Time. Why is Mike Babcock blowing it for the Leafs right now? Why am I the only one from the beginning of the season that recognized how good the Vegas Golden Knights are? What? Actually, that's all I got. There was not a third. The third would have been nice, though. What's up, Hockey Talk Show fans? Yeah, bubbies. We're in the thick of it. We're in the gravy. We're in the sauce of the playoffs. So great. So friggin' excited about it. Thanks for joining us here on the Hockey Talk Show. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, make sure you comment below. Let me know where you're watching from, what team you want to talk about, what playoff series you want to talk about. Thumbs up on this video. Hit the share button, too, on social media, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. Tyson, welcome in. Washington is blowing it. Washington is blowing it. Washington and the Toronto Maple Leafs are screwing up my bracket picks, and it's driving me crazy. It really is driving me absolutely crazy. I hate it. I hate that they're screwing up my bracket picks. Some news for you, too, Devils fans. If you're looking forward to the draft, like so many Islander and Oiler and Ranger and Dallas fans are. What else? We're going to dive into the series, some of the hockey recaps from over the weekend, and whatever you want to talk about. Sort of a little bit of an open topic here on the Hockey Talk Show. Outside of the main points we're going to hit with the playoffs. Anything you want to talk about, drop it in the comments below right now. But I'm not going any farther. If you're watching this and you're not hitting the thumbs up on YouTube or Facebook, I'm not going any farther. I will turn this show around. Chris, I don't think you're the only one who talks about the Golden Knights. You're actually in the majority on that one. I also picked the Leafs in my bracket. Chris, you're feeling my pain. You're feeling my pain, brother. Here's the thing. When I say I'm the only one, I know Vegas has fans. And I know since the middle of the season they had fans. And I know since the end of the season I had fans. But you go back and you look at the Hockey Talk Show from week 1, 10 games into this season, and I said the Vegas Golden Knights are legit, and nobody took me seriously then, and nobody in the major outlets agreed with me, even up till the playoffs. The major media outlets, your TSNs, your Sportsnets, your ESPNs, Barstool Sports, I don't care who you name. Everybody picked NHL Network. Everybody was picking the Kings. Everybody was picking the Kings. Now we're one game away from a sweep. If there's anybody in the media that had Vegas from the get-go, please send it to me because I feel like I am alone on an island unto myself. I knew that they would do well, the Vegas Golden Knights. I knew it from 10 damn games into the season, and I am proud of that. And I want to put a spotlight on that, mostly because I love being right, secondarily because I don't want you to look at how bad my Washington and Toronto picks are doing. Let's ignore that. Don't focus on that. Focus on the important things, and that was I had Vegas early on, damn it. I had Vegas really early on. What's up, man? Good to see you. We'll tackle that topic on another show. That's for post playoff. That's post playoff topic talk right there, my man. That is definitely post playoff topic talk right there. Let's have a little fun with the Vegas Golden Knights. NHL on NBC Sports had this little graphic to share with us. I thought this was pretty cute. Weather forecast for Los Angeles. Flurry on Sunday. Sunny today and a flurry tomorrow. Ouch. Burn. The attitude of the Vegas Golden Knights Twitter has gone so far that even other outlets like NBC is starting to pick on people now. You see what I'm saying? It's spread a little bit here. It has definitely spread a bit. Usually it was Vegas at first that only had some bite. Now NBC, NHL on NBC is throwing some shade around. Look at me using the word shade like it's 2016 again. I'm on the cutting edge. Ask all the kids. Ask all the 12-year-olds, you know. So I thought that was pretty adorable. And by the way, I didn't think so at the beginning. I'd have to go back and look at the prediction show. I think I picked Vegas in 7. It could be Vegas in 4, honestly. I mean, it could be Vegas in 4. I would not be surprised. And if I had to go out and put money on it, I would go ahead and say Vegas in 5. I think that the Kings muster up what they need to force a game 5. I think they win at home. I don't think that'll be a clean sweep, but would you be surprised if it was? And I don't see how the Kings, even if they win game 4, could win a game in Vegas after this. I just don't know. I just really honestly do not foresee how that's even a possibility. Now, just got the word from Facebook that we are topping 900 likes and follows on the Hockey Talk Show Facebook page. So let me pass along that thank you to you guys for continuing to spread the word and letting everybody know that the Hockey Talk happens right here 5 days a week live on YouTube and Facebook. We have grown over one season from nothing, from me and my close friends, literally. Aunt and Liz were there from the beginning. It was just the 3 of us. Those are the first couple of shows. To now 900 continuing followers who keep pushing our stats up through the roof. So I want to thank you guys for that. Again, it's because you're liking the post, which do that right now if you haven't already. And it's because you're hitting the share button on Facebook, on Twitter, and even dropping some screen caps on Instagram. I see all that stuff. I see you guys that are doing that, and I want to thank you so much. By the way, just to touch on the Hockey Talk Show quickly, there's so much exciting things going on in the future here. We really do have a lot of cool things in the works, topic-wise, going into the offseason, the draft. We're going to have some people come in and talk about the prospects that are coming up and all that stuff. We got some fun things that we're going to be doing in the future, some merch and stuff like that. Just some kind of like down home cool stuff, like not merch like our logo on a shirt, which we'll do. Like, I think that's cool, but like fun, like hockey merch stuff that we're going to start doing. We're dabbling and we're fooling around with some things, and I'm really excited about that. I only hope that Mike Babcock can take my lead and try new things, because if he doesn't, I honestly don't see how the Toronto Maple Leafs can sustain a playoff run here. My focus of this show is going to be how right I was about the Vegas Golden Knights. And I don't know, over the course of the day today, I just got more and more pissed off at Mike Babcock for what he's doing for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's just really driving me honestly crazy. All right, let me get to some of your comments, and then we'll delve into what I want to talk about here for this Mike Babcock thing. Enrique on Facebook, how do you feel about the playoffs overall so far? I feel damn good, Enrique. I feel damn good. As a hockey fan, we've seen some pretty damn good hockey. Sid's killing it. Again, I go back to that goal that he scored, batting the puck out of midair as it was traveling towards him. I've seen deflections. I've seen pucks up in midair and players slap it down and into the net. I've never actually seen a puck coming towards a player and he lifts his stick and he bats it in a new direction. Those goals are few and far between. I mean, I'm sure they've happened, but they don't really stick in my mind. That's going to stick in my mind. And I think we've got some killer playoff series. Even if you look at Pittsburgh and Philly, let me be honest with you, and I still think Pittsburgh's going to run away with that series. I was shocked. I was not shocked that Philly won a game. I was shocked that Philly just killed Pittsburgh in that game that they won. What was it, 5-0? Did Pittsburgh even score? They may have put one in the end. That's what she said. But the point is this, if we can stay away from office jokes, I didn't think that the Flyers shellacked them. Like, to hell with the score. It doesn't even matter. They didn't even let them in the game. Like, it was devastating to Pittsburgh. Now, clearly they came back and they won the next game. It doesn't really matter. And again, I wasn't surprised. I knew Philly was going to win a game in this series, but to win a game in that much of a dominating style, I was pretty surprised. I was pretty surprised about it. I've been enjoying the hell out of the Vegas Kings series. It's been really hard for me to watch. For those of you guys who don't know, I do morning drive radio here in New York, and I'm up at the crack of dawn, and I got to get in bed early. But I've been taking my, hockey app on my iPad, sitting it on the bed next to me, not really falling asleep as good as I should be because I got one eye on the game as I'm trying to catch some Z's, going to bed at 11:30 when I should be going to bed at 9, So I've been really enjoying that series. San Jose's dominance over Anaheim, I called that one. A lot of people did. I can't take credit for that like I can Vegas, but I'm just really happy to see San Jose coming of age. There's like a middle class of failure in the National Hockey League playoffs that you just kind of feel bad for after a while. Washington and San Jose are leading that charge. They have been in it for so many years and just at the same time stagnant and not really able to get over that hump. At least San Jose made it to the Cup final. Washington hasn't, but there's two teams that really, honestly, should have Stanley Cup rings to their names, and they just don't. So it's kind of cool to see San Jose dominating this early on in the series. So if you're asking me, am I enjoying this? I'm enjoying the hell out of it, man. It's been good. We've had some close games. We've had some high-scoring games. Like, we've had a little bit of everything. I could use a little bit more physicality. I could use a little bit more fighting, but I'm a realist. I know that doesn't really exist that much in today's game. So awesome question. Am I enjoying the playoffs? I really, really am. I think more so this year than in years past because we've just been seeing some great hockey. And there's a lot of teams going off of what? Is that really your name? Ass Muncher? Ass Muncher iPod. I don't know. I might be getting censored on YouTube for this. We're going to call you AI from now on. Going on what AI is saying. It's a great choice of name. I had an argument the other day on our Hockey Talk Show YouTube page with a guy named Toilet Man. That's literally, if there's anything that depresses you more as a professional broadcaster, and again, Ass Muncher, please don't, no offense, my friend. But I argued for literally 4 hours with a guy named Toilet Man, okay? And he wasn't even a plumber because he admitted that to me. Anyway, the point is this. I'm enjoying the heck out of this series. And to go by what AI is saying here, Boston is hungry for the cup. That's what's so exciting. Like, look at all the teams that are hungry for the cup. Tampa is in wonderful shape and hungry. Boston, hungry. Columbus looks so confident. Pittsburgh, hungry. Vegas, hungry. San Jose, hungry. Nashville, like the next round, the second round is going to be so knockdown, drag out good. I just can't wait for it. I'm so excited about it. I am so damn excited about it. Chris, I'm going to get into the Toronto Maple Leafs lines in a second. That's why we changed this episode title to Mike Babcock Is Blowing It from I Was Right About the Vegas Golden Knights because it's the lines that's really pissing me off. Let me see here. Austin, happy to see Columbus win, but they're messing up my bracket. I know, isn't that the thing? I picked the Caps knowing full well I might lose that one. I picked Toronto knowing I had a really good chance at losing that one, but I still picked Toronto. And all right, well, I'll say the Toronto thing for a second. Twitter page for the Knights is the most funny page I have ever seen. And I'll tell you this, I'm going to give Vegas credit for sharpening the teeth of the National Hockey League a little bit because the National Hockey League and the NHL Network, they're very friendly, very nice. Nobody wants to insult anybody. Even when they're criticizing someone, they're complimenting them at the same time. Like, you don't get a lot of honesty coming out of the NHL. They do protect their product an awful lot, maybe a little bit more than some of the other leagues do, as they should, but a little bit too much, I think, sometimes. But Vegas has really given an edge, and they took off, and it's done well. And like we saw with NHL on NBC, that's only one example, but I can point to 20 others where everybody else is getting a little bit more of an edge on social media for the NHL. And I like that. I think we need it. It's good for the fans. We're into it when it happens. I want to see two teams spar back and forth on Twitter and let them settle it on the ice. To me, it's fun. So I have to give the Golden Knights credit for that. They are funny, but honestly, they're doing something really special in making the league a little bit more entertaining, which I really like. We got to give Vegas credit for a lot of great things that they've wound up doing so far this year because they've really done some amazing things, more so on the ice than off, but still get credit for off the ice. Let me see here. Absolutely garbage. You're using straight clickbait. It's been 2 games. Calm your shit, bud. Away from society. Such a shitty show. Bro, I picked Toronto. Babcock is blowing it. I will lay out all my reasons why. If there's anything you can't accuse me of, it's clickbait. I would have much higher numbers if I wanted to use clickbait. I've been trying to deliver a good show for you on a daily basis. And by the way, if you want to talk on this channel, you got to have better name than Away from Society. Like, try Ass Muncher or Toilet Man. That'll get you farther. Babcock is struggling to coach a good team. I don't think that's the problem. I'm going to get to the problem. Does Toronto make it a fight in this series, or does Boston kill all hopes? Toronto makes it a fight. I don't want to face Boston in the second round. They're geriatric, but they always have Tampa's number. Let me tell you something. DeBrusque, McAvoy, they're not so geriatric. Boston is hungry for the cup. I look forward to the show since I found it. Thanks, Kale. Marc-Andre Fleury is looking great. Very athletic goalie. Hashtag salty haters. I feel like this was a conversation I had recently. Here's where Babcock is screwing this series up. And you tell me if I'm wrong. He's being too stubborn. And I understand it. In Toronto, it's 24/7. You go get a turkey sandwich, somebody's going to tell you how to coach the team. You know, you get picked up in a car, somebody's going to tell you how to coach the team. You put the TV on, they're talking about how Mike Babcock should coach the team. When Toronto was winning, and I use my good buddy Eddie V, good fan of the show since day one. Love having Eddie V in the conversation. But Eddie V is prototypical of Toronto Maple Leafs fans. Toronto could win a game 17-1, and they would say, we almost blew it. They would say they won, but what they should have done, that's just the way Toronto is. Toronto is an abused spouse. They are conditioned to bad things. And it's not. On top of saying Vegas was good, I was also saying Toronto is good. When Toronto was struggling, I was saying, hang with Toronto. They're going to be fine. They have Austin Matthews. They have Freddie Anderson. Just to show that fucking asshole how much this is not clickbait. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. But I still think that Toronto has a shot at winning. By the way, I went back and looked at the last game, even though it was, what, 7-3? What was the score? I thought it was closer than the score said. And I know that Boston dominated the play, and when they dominated, they dominated. But honestly, there were a couple of things. Toronto hit there was, when you look, and you could find little things that if it would have just went this way, it could have changed the course of the game. This game is closer than you think. And how many kind of bad deflections did Toronto have in their last game? Quite a few. Honestly, quite a few. So I understand that, Toronto is hurting, and I understand that Boston is up to nothing, but I honestly would not be surprised if Toronto came back and won. Where Babcock is blowing this is in his line selection. And what really put me over the top and made me pick the title, he has Thomas Plekanec on the second line. Thomas Plekanec on the second line. The guy who sucked on Montreal, that nobody can understand why Toronto would even want him in the first place when you have possibly the greatest fourth line center in the game in Dominic Moore. Okay? He's now, Plekanec goes from the fourth line center to the second line center. The guy hasn't been able to put up points all year long. Change the scenery from Montreal to Toronto, still no points. Playoff matchup. Does he even have a point in the playoffs? I don't think he does. I'll have to double check that before I get into it. But Plekanec has had the worst year of his career, and he's had a wonderful career. but he had 6 goals this season. Not exactly where you want to be. All right, I'm pulling off his playoff stats right now. He has 0 points and is a -2. Why on God's green earth is one of the greatest coaches in the National Hockey League today putting this 0 on the second line? And I feel bad saying 0 because he deserves a lot more respect than that. But honestly, Babcock likes his guys and he's going to stick with his guys. And that's why Roman Polak is in the game. And I get that. And I'm fine with it for the most part. But you got to be friggin' kidding me that Thomas Plekanec is on the second line. You're going to blow this series. You got Dominic Moore rotting on the bench. And you're sitting there going, well, you know who I think could put up some points for us tonight? The guy that scored 6 goals in 82 friggin' games. I'm trying not to. You're really not supposed to curse on YouTube. It affects your circulation numbers. So I'm trying not to. Plus, I know we got some young kids listening. But this is utterly ridiculous. And the other guy really pissed me off a moment ago, telling me that I got clickbait. He's probably not even watching anymore. Fucking asshole Toronto fans. Honestly, some of them, I can't take it. Clickbait. Your coach is playing Thomas Plekanec on the second line. Are you kidding me? The guy is single-handedly blowing this series. Go back to the Hockey Talk Show playoff prediction show. What did I say? Boston is going to give Toronto a hard time in front of the net. Boston loves to attack the front of the net. They are masterful. You don't believe me? Go back and watch the condensed game. Go back and watch the highlights from the last game. I would say 6, maybe 5 of their 7 goals came from a deflection right in front or a player moving through the slot. It was typical Boston. You know their playbook. They keep the puck to the perimeter. They move it to the front of the net. Next thing you know, it hits the twine. It's not rocket science. But don't worry about putting more defensive players in the game. Let's give Thomas Plekanec more ice time. That makes a whole hell of a lot of sense. I mean, come on. He's a better coach than this. I think that Mike Babcock has backed himself into a little bit of a corner this playoffs because he wants to show not the fans, but the media and those that criticize him, by the way, unfairly on a daily basis. Like I said, when he wins 17-1, they're still going to go, you know what you should have done, Mike? So I understand it, but he's wrong because he's coaching against the detractors and the negative Nancys. By the way, I'm going to take 5 points off for using the term negative Nancy. I apologize for that. There's no reason for that. There's no call for that. But anyway, he's trying to prove to everybody, no, I know what I'm talking about. No, you don't understand. I'm Mike Babcock, and Thomas Plekanec is a diamond in the rough. Thomas Plekanec is not a diamond in the rough. And he could have a 2-goal game tonight, and Toronto could win 2-0. And I would be on this show tomorrow going, it is a mistake to put Thomas Plekanec back on the second line. It is an absolute mistake. If Plekanec finds some chemistry with Marner and Patrick Marleau, by the way, it's hard to say Marleau and Marner. If he finds some chemistry, great. Honestly, it's a mistake. It's a mistake. What this team needs is Dominic Moore and Matt Martin. That's exactly what this team needs. Let Kasperi Kapanen center the fourth line. I don't even care. It doesn't even matter who the center of the fourth line is. But get Dominic Moore in this game and get Matt Martin in this game. These are guys that play hard. I promise you, David Pastrnak and DeBrusk and Bergeron are all going to think twice about coming straight across the crease right in front of the net if Matt Martin is there waiting to hit him. Now, I know Dominic Moore is not the biggest hitter in the world, but the guy can play defense. He's a phenomenal bottom six centerman and one of the great defensive players in the game. And his ass has been in the friggin' press box the whole series. Now, Dominic Moore is going to find his way back into the game tonight. He's going to center the fourth line, which I get. I would rather see Tyler Bozak go up and center that second line. I understand there's not a whole ton of options for you, and he's probably thinking Plekanec will just win us a lot of faceoffs, and hopefully Marleau and Marner could do the rest. I understand the logic, but it's too much ice time for a guy that's been a flat-out zero for you all year long. He's a zero, and it's a mistake. I love Dominic Moore, too. This is where I am at with my love chart. My wife and children, my parents, my extended family, some of them, 40% of my extended family, and then Dominic Moore's right here. Then followed by my dog, and followed by all the people that give me money for a living. That's where I'm at with that. That is exactly where I'm at with that. Boston is running all over the front of the net like they own it. And what you need is some grit and toughness and smart defensive forwards to come back and help out your D. We all know that Toronto needed to upgrade their D at the deadline, and they didn't. Well, now you got to kind of make up for it. I would honestly throw Connor Carrick back into the lineup just to see how he can do. Can't be much worse than what everybody else is doing there. And I would put Matty Martin in this lineup with Dominic Moore, and I would concentrate on defense. Defense, defense, defense. That's what I would do. I would let Austin Matthews run wild. I'll let James Van Riemsdyk in the front of the net, let him do his thing. Honestly, the Toronto Maple Leafs can fight their way back into this series. I just don't see how they can do it with Thomas Plekanec up in the top of the lineup. I just don't see it. And I think Babcock is making a big mistake. Now, if you think that's clickbait, go fuck yourself. I can't help you. For tonight, let's take a look and see. We already got, they are already underway. Boston and Toronto is already, I didn't even realize it's 7:15. Boston and Toronto underway already. 0-0, 16 minutes left in the third. By the way, we are seeing a goalie shift in the playoffs. Corey Schneider draws back in. He'll start for the Devils. I wouldn't be surprised, and I think it's pretty expected, although it hasn't been announced yet, that Braden Holtby is going to go back in for Washington. And who is the other one? There's another goalie that's drawn back in. Oh, it's killing me now. Who was it? I can't remember. Screw it. All right, that's it. So predictions for tonight. I think I honestly can't even. I don't even know what to do for Toronto because Babcock is really blowing it. I couldn't even tell you. I can't even predict that game. I can't even predict that game. It really upsets me. I think that Austin Matthews will rise to the occasion. I think Freddie Anderson will rise to the occasion in front of their home crowd. Give me Toronto. I'm going to continue to throw good money after bad with my betting. Give me Toronto. I think the Devils will have a little bit of a pushback tonight, but I think Tampa's still just too much for them, even in front of the Devils' home crowd. Nashville will take a 3-0 lead in Colorado this evening. And Anaheim, San Jose, that series goes to San Jose with San Jose a 2-0 lead. They'll take a 3-0 lead for sure. More previews tomorrow. Did I get to everything? Oh, yeah, last thing. Rasmus Dahlin is still at the top of the NHL Central Scouting. They have announced their final rankings of international skaters, and no surprise there, but Rasmus Dahlin is still number one. I think he'll go number one. He's a phenomenal defenseman. He's going to be right down the line of Victor Hedman, good Swedish number one defenseman. Any team that gets him will be lucky. Of course, we have the draft lottery coming up, I think, in 12 days. We'll be all over that, covering that. Maybe we'll do a live one. As that happens live, we'll do that live. Maybe we'll carry that live. That'll be a fun night. I always like the draft lottery. Like I said, I mentioned this a second ago, but we're going to have some experts come in and see, Eddie V, this is the classic Toronto fan. The Leafs are losing to Boston already. The score is 0-0. Just classic. Just classic. Do me a favor. If you guys have time to seek out, what was his name? Away From Society. Post this on Away From Societies. Can you even post something on somebody's YouTube? I think you kind of can. Post the rest of this show on Away From Society's YouTube. Fucking jackass. It really pissed me off. Because you can say I'm crazy and I'm out of my mind and I'm wrong, but don't say I'm doing clickbait, because I'm not. We could have easily done clickbait a lot of times. Granted, we did go back to the expansion well a whole bunch because that was doing well for our numbers, but still, we did talk about it, so it wasn't really clickbait. Priscilla, honestly, do we even care about the East? The Cup will go either Vegas or Nashville. It's not a crazy point, Priscilla, but I will say Pittsburgh and Tampa, they're pretty good too. I mean, I really don't know if you can argue with the East. I don't know. Look, I can't argue with Nashville or Vegas winning, but the East is going to be all right. Overall, if I had to pick a conference, which one is stronger? I don't know. It's tough because Boston, Tampa, and Pittsburgh. And on the other side, it's Vegas, Winnipeg, Nashville. Minnesota was strong, even though they haven't really looked all that great. But they're only down 2-1. San Jose is pretty good. I don't know. It would be hard. It would be hard for me to pick that. McDavid dies, the next clickbait title. Guaranteed 100,000 viewers. Maybe we'll do that. You know what, Kale? For kicks, we might just title. That's pretty terrible, though. I feel bad about that. If we come up with a more creative one where nobody dies, then I'll go with that one. I'm not even going to try and pronounce this name. Our defense is horrendous. If I was Babs, I would just focus on offense at this point. Live and die by our offense. Look, I made the point, and again, what's wonderful about the Hockey Talk Show is this is documented. You can go back and you can watch the episodes. I criticized Babcock. The last time I did was in the beginning of the season when suddenly he pulled back on his horses and he started worrying about defense. And I said, don't do that. Just play offense. Let your horses go. This is when they were putting up 6 and 7 goals a game. And then he made the adjustment. And I know I'm contradicting myself now, but it's a different thing. You're playing against Pasternak and DeBrusk. That first line is great. Now all of a sudden the second line for Boston's really kicking in. You got to tighten up on those guys. And I'm not saying everybody. But that's why you put a Dominic Moore and Matt Martin in the game. Let them play up against those bigger lines. And then put Austin Matthews up against Boston's fourth line and try and win it out that way. Squeak back and play hard D, for a couple of shifts against their top 2 lines and let your boys run wild against their thirds. You have home ice now. You can match. Can you blame a goalie playing with crummy defense in front of them? I don't blame Freddie Anderson at all. Maybe you're just joining us. Seriously. The deflection, a couple of deflection. Honestly, that 7-3 game, what was the end score? 7-3. It was closer than the score said. And a couple of things changed midway through. Toronto hits a post. That one goes in. It's a different game. I don't think that Toronto is as out of it as some people may think. And maybe I'm crazy. But I'll pick Toronto tonight. Give me Tampa on the road. Give me Nashville on the road. Give me San Jose at home. Like I said, we're going to be bringing in some people to talk about the prospects. Once we get closer to the draft, we're going to do a big draft show. We're going to do big free agency shows. And if any trades break, we'll cover them. But keep this in mind. On Facebook and YouTube, you guys got to make sure that you are getting the notifications for the show. This is super, 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 super important. The great part about the Hockey Talk Show and why it beats ESPN and all the other networks is we turn it on like this. We don't have to worry about covering football or basketball or anything else. When something breaks here, we can put the channel on right away and go right down to it. So if you're a fan of us on Facebook or YouTube, I just want to make sure that you're getting the notifications. Next to your subscribe button, there's a little bell. Let me bring it up for you guys so you can see. There's a little bell right here. Make sure you guys ring that bell. Hit that bell. Make sure you're getting the notifications. So if we go live with a big free agent signing, once the season is over, or a big trade in the off season, we'll be on. Boom. We'll be on. You're going to miss it if you're not getting the notifications on YouTube. Over on Facebook, you go right over here to following. You hover your mouse over. See first, notifications on all posts. You got to have both of those selected on the show, on our Facebook and our YouTube, to make sure you guys are going to get all the latest and you don't miss a chance to share your opinion, right? You can get the breaking news from Bob McKenzie on Twitter, but you can't. Bob McKenzie ain't going to answer you. We'll have a dialogue back and forth. That's the great part about it. So make sure you guys are following us all the way. As we go, Schuster, Coburn, Liz, go Rangers South. Yeah, go Rangers South. You can honestly, Ranger fans could honestly root for Rangers South, Tampa, or Rangers West, Columbus. You can root for either one. You can kind of root for Rangers Northeast, Boston, but that's really only Nash. Thanks. You start covering hockey and NASCAR. We are gonna implement more NASCAR into the show in the future. Hate the Penguins as an Isles fan. Penguins are on a mission. Snow still employed. Yep. By the way, haven't heard peep out of the Tavares situation. Not a peep. Nor do I think we will. Not really until the draft. I think that's when it'll pick up again, because that's when the rumors of the Islanders are going to sign and trade him are going to pick up again, which I still don't think is going to happen. Because I think, again, Garth Snow's last chance at greatness is pulling off something amazing during the draft. But I am under no delusion that he's actually going to do it. But that's his last chance to convince Tavares, look, you got a goalie now. Or look at the defenseman we brought in. Other than that, it's a rough one. 900 followers on Facebook. Thank you for that. We can get the YouTube numbers up a little bit. Even if you follow on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. To hell with it. I don't care if you only watch on Facebook. Need to get the subscribers up there a little bit. If you can share that around our YouTube channel, please do so. Liz, I barely rooted for Nash when he was on the Rangers. I can't root for Boston. No want. Well, leave it on the funny line that Liz had. I'll see you guys on the next shift. Enjoy the playoff hockey tonight. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be talking about how brilliant I am about calling the Babcock Toronto Maple Leafs win for this evening. If not,